Baseball and Whatever with your host, Justin McAwee.
Because I was on campus and I had to appear like I was one of the cool kids, I would put the Star Wars book inside one of my textbooks so it looked like I was just studying for class.
All right, look, there's only one return, okay? And it ain't of the king, it's of the Jedi.
Vincent Francis Jankowitz IV.
I'm a glorified fact checker.
Last I checked, the most runs in a game wins.
Actually, I am a fact checker.
And Greg Probst.
If you look at most Bond fans movie rankings, they have Casino Royale and Majesties in their top two. For me, these actually rank in the bottom part of my list. I mean, I love them, but they don't compare to Diamond Cuts Forever.
No, stop getting Bond wrong!
Alrighty, what's up, everybody? Justin here, Vinny's here. Episode 80 of Baseball and Whatever. If you're listening to this and you're like, holy cow, Justin sounds very bassy and dulcet and sexy, that is because I have lost my voice. I got pink eye the night after we had our last episode with Cody, thanks to my wonderful daughter, and then that turned into a sinus infection, or maybe it's separate, I don't know how that works, and then now I have laryngitis a little bit, but the power of the podcast is going to push me through. And Vinny, how's it going, man?
Or it'll kill you.
Yeah, whatever. I've been through worse.
Dead on air.
Yeah. Hey, think of the publicity we would get.
Dead air.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna persevere. We're gonna power through. I apologize in advance. You went from my whiny, nasally voice to whatever this is now. But yeah, so we got baseball. We got plenty of Cubs and White Sox talk. In terms of talk, yes. In terms of what they're doing, not much. So we'll get into that. I'm sure we have some rants prepared. We might have a special guest. Greg might come in if he can get away for a few minutes. He's got plenty of thoughts on the lack there of signings for the White Sox and for the Cubs for that matter too. And then we're going to get into Musical Mayhem 3. Last week or 2 weeks ago, Vinny pulled 5 random artists. We got Lit, Matchbox 20, Wiz Khalifa, and then 2 I had never heard of. Rich Homey Quan, which, let me tell you, he's probably a lovely man, but his music is awful. I did not like a single thing.
Yeah.
So, and then we have this group from Europe called Peace, which Vinny and I actually liked. I might have to listen to more of them on Spotify as time goes on. So stick with us if you're here for that part. We still got plenty of baseball to talk about. If you are listening to us for the first time, thank you so much. Remember, like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/baseball and whatever. You can find us on Twitter at baseball and what. We are almost to 1,000. I think we're at 947 now in terms of followers. You can email the show. Yes, very well done, Vinny. You can email the show at baseballwhatever@gmail.com. We're on all your apps of choice for podcasts. If you're on Apple or Spotify, feel free to throw us a 5-star review or a thumbs up, whatever it is on Spotify. We would greatly appreciate it. We are also up to 144 subscribers on YouTube. So for us, that's a lot. So thank you to everyone who is hopping on, watching, listening, or at least having it play in the background while they sleep. I don't know if we're good at putting people to sleep because we're boring. Maybe that's the case. I don't know.
Maybe.
I was talking to my coworker Dan that I don't work with him anymore. He's like, "It's so good. I get to listen to you still on the show," and I'm like, "Well, thank you. At least that I don't know.
That's kind of him.
That's kind of him to persevere through our goofy show. So thank you, Dan." But it's episode 80, so we're going to try and name off any famous athletes in Chicago that had the number 80. Vinny already told me there is one Blackhawk from the Cup run that had 80. Two Blackhawks.
Two Blackhawks, but one that was during the, I think the Cup run during those years.
What was it, all of them or just one of them?
One. 2015. I don't know if they won the Cup that year.
Yes, they did. They won. Yep.
Okay.
Can you give me an initials or something? Because I honestly got nothing.
I want to say he came over in a trade.
Okay.
Yes, he did come over mid-season in the trade. Plays center.
Okay.
Shoots left. I do remember this guy.
You remember
I remember
him.
he was brought on because he was good at, supposedly good, I think, at winning face-offs.
Face-offs, okay.
He came from Arizona.
Okay, let me think. I'm getting... Oh, yes, and he really didn't do as much once he got here. That would be Antoine Vermette. Yes,
Good
I was
job, Justin.
so excited when they got him because he was really good in Arizona for a while. He was really good in Ottawa when he was younger, and then he got to Chicago and he kind of laid an egg. He wasn't that good anymore. And I don't know what he did after that Cup run. He might have.
He went back to Arizona.
Did he go back to Arizona? I was gonna say because
Yep.
they're a garbage organization, but yeah, he'd probably have difficulty
He had
finding
3
work.
more years in the league.
All in
He was
Arizona.
done. Arizona, and then he went to Anaheim, I'm guessing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Anaheim was kind of falling apart by
The
that
Ducks,
point. Too.
yep.
Okay. Yeah. Other 80s.
Only one, and he's currently wearing it.
I have no clue.
Mitchell
no clue.
Weeks.
Oh God, I think he must have came up for like training camp or something because I don't think he's even with the team at the moment. But okay, good to know.
Yeah. On to the Bears.
Yes. What do you got for me?
All right. Can you guess anybody?
Bernard
There's
Berrien.
been a couple recently.
Is Bernard
Tight
Berrien 80?
ends.
No, not Bernard Berrien.
Bernard Berrien. I didn't hear you say that. Good job. Yes.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
look at me. Look at me.
I said tight ends, and I didn't hear
I
you
went
say.
wide receiver. Yeah.
Yes.
That is the only one I can think of. Tight ends. Good Lord.
Yes. Recently, tight ends.
Recently, is Cole Kmet? Cole Kmet's not 80, is he?
No.
Okay, then I have no idea.
It was Jimmy Graham.
Oh God, I tried to forget that one.
And before that, it was the guy that got anxiety trying to run the same play he ran in the Super Bowl.
Oh, what was his name? Oh God, I can't think of his name. If you say it, I'm gonna know.
Trey Burton.
Trey Burton. That's right. I was excited when they got him, and then, yeah, that didn't go so well.
No, it didn't. Then we have Mark Mariani. Remember him?
No.
2014, 2015.
Mm-mm.
Nope. Brandon Lloyd.
Yes, Brandon Lloyd. I remember.
Played for quite a bit he went to one Pro Bowl. Bernard Berrien, you guessed.
Yeah. Went
Earl
to Minnesota,
Bennett.
right? Earl Bennett. That was Jay Cutler's guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, in college. They were
That's
college
right, yeah.
college buddies.
At Vanderbilt, right? Does that sound right?
Correct. Good
Yeah,
job,
look at
Justin.
me.
You are sharp tonight, man. You're sick, but you're still sharp as a tack. Then we had Des White. I don't know why that name sounds familiar, but he didn't play long. I guess he played 4-6 years in the NFL.
Yeah,
4 with the Bears.
I do remember him, but I don't remember him making a huge impact in that regard.
Drafted in the 3rd round. Ooh, 69th overall. Nice.
Nice.
But yeah, the name sounds familiar. I can't put a face to the name though.
Yeah.
Curtis Conway wore 80.
Curtis Conway.
Like
he was
Curtis
one of my
Conway.
favorites growing up. Yeah.
Yep.
Those were some. That would have been what, was that like the Jim Miller era or Eric Kramer era? I don't remember.
Eric Kramer era.
Eric Kramer. Okay.
93 to 99.
Okay.
Before that, not much. James Thornton, 88 to 91.
No.
Ricky Watts, 79 to
83.
Bo Rather.
No. Boo Radley?
No.
I
Yeah, Boo Radley. No, Bo Rather. He one-time Super Bowl champ. Yeah, it wasn't with the Bears. I don't know who. It must have been with the Dolphins because that was the only other team he was with. Mark Mariani actually went to a Pro Bowl.
Did he really?
Believe it or not. Yeah, went to the Pro Bowl with Tennessee his first year.
Huh.
Didn't do much after that.
Did not know that.
Other than that, Jim Jones. I don't know. Popped up on the list of notable guys. Yeah, other than that, nobody.
Okay. Huh.
But good list there. I recognized a bunch. There was a bunch of guys there. Not super, obviously not superstars because they're Chicago Bears wide receivers and tight end. Well, tight ends. They have had some good tight ends, but not the ones that wore 80.
Right.
Yep. So
all right,
that's it for Chicago sports history number 80s.
81 should be a little bit easier, at least for the Hawks. It'll be a little bit easier. All right. Well, we do have a few comments from last week's show. If you didn't get a chance to listen to last week's show, with Cody Delmendo of CHGO. We had plenty of Cubs talk, and then we went on and talked about our top 5 Christmas gifts of all time, which was a lot of fun. We had a few people write in, so I'll take the Vinny, you can take your sisters if you want, the first one there.
Erica wrote in and she said my cell phone when I turned 16 and my Bulls pullover starter jacket when I was in junior high. That was the starter jacket. That was kind of a big one. That was on your list too, Justin.
It was my Hornets jacket, yeah.
Look at that. You two were just made for each other.
We were made for...
You guys wear your starter jackets out a lot?
We could have wore
together?
It down the aisle at the wedding, if we were thinking about it. But yeah, no, that was a big deal. I still got to break out that Muggsy Bogues jersey on the podcast one of these days. I gotta start wearing those more. All right, my mom wrote in. She said she had a few. She had her Barbie airplane, Barbie camper, an organ, which I know she was really proud of being able to play in Barbie Dreamhouse. I'll be honest, that's the first time I've ever heard my mom mention that she was a big Barbie fan when she was a kid. I had no idea, ever.
Interesting.
Because my sister wasn't into Barbies when she was a kid, so we never had those really around the house.
Huh. That's kind of interesting. You thought like maybe your mom would get that for
pass it
her
around,
to
pass it along. Yeah, you would think.
It's interesting. An organ, like a full-sized organ?
I think it was a little bit smaller, but it was like a full-blown organ from what she described to me when she told me about it. Yeah, so...
and we're talking about the musical instrument.
The music, not like a black market cooler.
She got a kidney for Christmas.
You never know when you need an extra one. You never know.
Just have it on ice.
Just ready to go. So...
Erin writes in, she said, Barbie Jeep. Also, one year when we didn't have a ton of money, my mom gave me her special ruby ring.
That's pretty cool.
That was really nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't really think I have any like heirlooms from my family, to be honest. I don't know. Do you have anything that was passed on in your family?
I don't think so.
No?
Not that I know of.
Not yet?
No.
You'll get your mom's like artificial knee someday maybe or something like that.
Ooh, fun.
It'd be like the leg lamp.
You never know when I'll need one.
Yeah. Just like the cooler of a kidney, right?
Right,
and then
exactly.
Lastly, your mom wrote in. She said, my favorite Christmas gifts were my Chrissy doll whose hair grew, my first stuffed animal, a dog I called Rusty, and I loved all the homemade gifts my kids brought home from school or the gifts they bought with their own money, which were priceless. Aw, Vinny, your mom thinks you're priceless. Yeah, I can't wait until I get to that point where Maddie starts making me this stuff, and you just gotta be like, "Oh, thanks, sweetie. That's a pine cone with peanut butter and seeds on it. Well, you're a homemade ornament."
She won't
That's
make
great.
that for you. She's gonna make that for the birds and want you to hang it in the tree, Justin. Don't worry.
Okay.
The gifts and the stuff they make are like appropriate. You're not gonna get handed like food. You're gonna get handed artwork.
I don't know what's worse. All right. Well.
Well, the artwork you hang on the fridge. You say it's cute. You hang on the fridge, and you.
That's true. Good point. That's a very good point.
Can we get back to this doll though, with the hair growing?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't know that was a thing either. Like, is that like that's kind of creepy? Like, was it like grass, like a chia pet, or I'm kind of intrigued by it, but also terrified. Like, why is the hair growing on the doll?
Maybe it's something like you can like pull the hair a little bit and it comes out and then it just kind of goes back in. I don't. We're gonna need clarification.
We're gonna have to get some more. Yes, exactly. But we'll relay it back to the podcast on what actually is going. Because I mean, she grew up in the 50s, 60s.
The technology. I don't know what type of technology.
I don't think it was there for that. They don't have that nowadays, unless it was like oh, there we go.
Pretzel Vince in the chat.
Hey everybody, an old man's talking.
You could pull it out and then turn a crank on the doll's back to pull it back in. Okay, that makes sense.
So it was like an analog doll. It wasn't digital yet. We weren't in the digital age yet.
Yeah, and it definitely wasn't like actual real hair growing. Like you had to cut it. I was thinking like some like sort of like X-ray nuclear type thing in it where you would get like cancer from it, like later on. It's just one of those things in the 60s and 50s where they didn't really have regulations on
gamma radiation or something
exactly
like that.
Exactly.
Well, see, we just solved that mystery. Thank you, Pretzel.
We
Vince.
did.
All right, real quick, we'd like to thank our partner In the Clutch for joining with us here on the podcast. In the Clutch is an awesome sports apparel company known for their licensed MLB, Negro League, and MLS apparel, along with great shirts to rep your favorite retro hockey, baseball, and football teams. Even better, head to intheclutch.com right now, find your shirt, add it to your cart, and then at checkout, use promo code BASEBALLANDWHAT, and you will get 10% off your order. So once again, at checkout, use promo code BASEBALLANDWHAT to get 10% off your order. We want to thank the folks over at In the Clutch. All right, let's get to the baseball talk. Here we go.
Baseball.
Welcome back.
Uh-oh. I think you cut it, Vinny. Unless I can't hear it anymore.
MLB.
Oh. You muted yourself and it muted the sound bite.
Should I play it again?
Yeah, what the hell? Play it again. Here we go. Baseball. Talk.
Welcome back to Major League Baseball. Sort of.
Taking a look at Chicago's two favorite teams and other happenings around the MLB.
There we go. It was, sounds so nice. We wanted to hear it twice. All right. Real quick, Greg wrote these in just to run through a couple contracts that were pretty big. We didn't get a chance to get to them because we had Cody on. Clayton Kershaw, 1 year, $20 million with the Dodgers. Jacob deGrom, 5 years, $185 with the Rangers. Verlander signs a 2-year, $87 million deal with the Mets. Trey Turner, 11 years, $300 million with the Phillies. Josh Bell, 2 years, $33 million with the Guardians. Andrew Haney, 2 years, $25 million with the Rangers. Mitch Haniger, oddly enough, the podcast I work on for an educational company just literally interviewed his brother, who's a teacher and a financial consultant. Mitch Haniger got 3 years and $45 million from the Giants. Taijuan Walker got 4 years, $72 million from the Phillies. Aaron Judge got 9 years, $360 million to return to the Yankees. Kenley Jansen got 2 years, $32 million with the Red Sox. And Jose Quintana got 2 years, $26 million with the Mets. All right. Vinny, do we want to start and just, I don't want to call it bash the Cubs. Maybe an airing of grievances, a Festivus, if you will, for the Cubs. Do you want to start? Do you want me to start? What's your vibe? I think we have the same vibe here, both in our text chain with Greg and, what we've been seeing on Twitter. It's frustrating as hell.
Yeah, at this point, I know I feel like everybody on Twitter is trying to talk themselves into Dansby Swanson. I've always liked him. He's going to be great. It's going to be a great signing. And I'm just he's a step below. It was the top three, and then it was him. I mean, offensively, he doesn't give the Cubs, and that's what they need. They don't have offense.
They lost
right now.
their best offensive player.
Exactly. They lost their best offensive player. They're hoping Matt Mervis is going to do what he was doing last year in the minors, in the majors. That's all well and good. I'm me. I'm the optimist on the podcast, but yeah. They did that last year. It didn't work out when they were hoping, Patrick Wisdom and Frank Schwindel were going to be these great players that, that they saw. You had a flash of that the year before with those players. You don't know. You don't have a flash with that with Matt Mervis. He did it in the minors, but you don't have anything to say he's going to be able to replicate that in the majors. I hope he does. That's going to be awesome. But you don't know. They haven't really given themselves any safety net. If that doesn't work out, we're kind of in the same spot where we were last year, where they didn't have a safety net. If, Frank Schwindel or Patrick Wisdom, if they struggled, what were they going to do? I don't know where they're going to go. Dansby Swanson, okay, I'm fine. I'm not going to hate on it if they sign him. I'm not going to be overly excited if they do. It's just, at this point, it's just meh. It's just they're settling.
It's a mess.
And I know a lot of people that are against Swanson say he's like Hayward. And I know our guy, friend of the pod, Jake Banowski, did a similar comparison between Jason Hayward's offensive numbers and Dansby Swanson. Jason Hayward, aged 20 to 25 in 834 games, slashed 267, 354, 430 with a weighted runs created plus of 117 and a walk strikeout rate of 18.5 and a walk rate of 10.8. Dansby Swanson from 22 to 28 in 827 games, 255, 321, 417 slashed with a weighted runs created plus of 94 and a strikeout rate of 24.2% and a walk rate of 8.6%. Jason Hayward has better numbers than Dansby Swanson.
He had
offensively.
Almost 200 strikeouts last year, I think, close to it, right?
Swanson?
Yeah.
I think so. But it's just, so that aspect, I know people are like, well, he's a great defensive guy. So is Jason Hayward. That it's all well and good, but I don't think that Jed's gonna go 10 years, and I think that's what it's gonna have to take. I know people are like, well, you can get him for 7. What makes you think that he's gonna settle for 7 when all these other guys are going 10 plus years? I don't see that happening. Sure, you can talk yourself into thinking that's going to happen. I don't see anything under 7 for him because he's 28 years old. I feel like he's going to get 11 to 12 years, be that 40 age range, just like the other guys. I don't know if he's do you know if he's a Boras client? I want to say he is, but I don't know. And so, again, if he's a Boras client, I'm thinking his contract's going to be up when he's around 40. He's going to get him like that 12-year contract. Yeah.
He is represented by Excel Sports Management. I don't know if that's Scott Boras.
I don't think that's
Boras.
Boras is I think it's got his name in it.
Okay.
So maybe you won't. So maybe you can get him for 7. I don't think that's possible. I think he's going to want a long-term deal. It's going to be over $200 million. I don't see Jed doing that. I mean, Gene Segura's Dansby Swanson's projected, I think, to get per Fangraphs to be at a 3.4 WAR next year. Gene Segura's projected to be at a 2. He's like, I think 0.7. He's less than one WAR less than Dansby Swanson. I think that's more of the intelligent spending that Jed likes to do, and Gene Segura is going to be a depth piece that can play short and second, and they're going to roll with Magical. I see that as being a possibility.
I think that's where it's going. I worry, and you brought it up earlier, is like, where does all this offense come from then? Because to put it all on Matt Mervis to produce, that's not fair to him not called up, but if he breaks camp with the team. Cody Bellinger, if he has if he recalibrates and gets back to his MVP year, maybe, but that's not a guarantee. And with him, if he does have a good year, and if the Cubs are out of it, he's going to be traded for something. Or B, he's not going to take that. I know he's got like not an extension. What's he got? An option, it's a club option for the second year.
I thought mutual. I thought it was it's a mutual option because they said if he's gonna have a good year, he's not gonna be
take
back.
that. No, not a chance.
No.
Not a chance in hell. So I don't know where the offense is coming from. I mean, you still, if they go out and sign Trey Mancini to platoon, does that help the offense? Yes, but then do they also have third base, Patrick Wisdom? That's not really gonna do it either for me. I don't know. And then Pretzel Vince in the chat says, what about Justin's favorite player, Ian Happ? If I'm Ian Happ, as soon as my contract's up, I am getting the hell out of Dodge because I don't think these guys are going to give you market value, or you can go out and get so much more on the free agent market. And B, this kind of leads me to my next point is I don't know, after the Cubs swung and missed, or in Correa's case, never even swung because they didn't even offer him a contract. I don't know what their long-term goal is. Last season, they went out, they got, I almost said Senga. They got Seiya, and then they got Stroman, and it was like, okay, they're getting smaller pieces so that the prospects will be a year closer, and then you can kind of reload the following year, meaning this year. That hasn't happened yet. So then if I'm Stroman, he could be dealt after this season because I think he's got an opt-out after 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep, that's correct.
And poor Seiya, then you've wasted 2 years of his 5-year deal doing what? Like, what was the point of that?
Exactly.
They're rudderless. There's no direction. And furthermore, I get the idea of intelligent spending that Jed has been pushing I totally get it. But the time for intelligent spending is when you're going to dictate the market and you're going to be the first one and you're going to set the market. You didn't do that with Trey Turner, and Trey Turner probably wasn't going to come here anyway. I think the rumors weren't as strong for him. But then you could have set the market with Bogarts. You didn't do that because San Diego came in and just said, here's the, Brinks truck, take it.
Yep.
And then, Correa, which is so frustrating. San Francisco is probably in the same spot in terms of, they're not very good right now either, but they knew they had a player they could build around for the next 10, let's say the next 6 to 7 years. He's solid. Then you worry about that and you worry about the rest of that contract in the future. If you're a good team, that contract in like 8 or 9 years isn't going to matter because A, it's going to be closer to fair market value, even if the guy's not very good anymore. And B, if you're a good team, you have prospects coming up. You have the money to eat that contract, similar to what the Cubs did with Hayward this year. So the fact that they took that big leap, like that's awesome for Giants. But the fact that the story broke that the Cubs never even offered him a deal after like talking about like parameters, that is so asinine. When you got Crane Kenny, who is out there running his mouth saying the pocketbook's open and Tom wants us to spend. I don't want to hear from Crane Kenny in business ops. They should not be talking to the fans. They have nothing to do with it. It's just so infuriating. And it's weird because like 2 weeks ago, I went from being so excited when those rumors broke that they're like, the Cubs got a good chance to get Bogarts and Swanson. And I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. And then one by one, all these guys came off the board, and now you're left with Swanson, and they're trying to spin it like, well, this is the guy we wanted all along. Okay, well, why didn't you just do that in the beginning and set the market to keep the prices down if that's what your rationale was? You didn't do that, so now you got to pay him bank. And like you said, Vinny, he's definitely, you had like these S-tier guys in Correa, Bogarts, and Turner, and then you got Swanson, who's good, but like, if you're grading on a curve, he's like a solid B. Like he's not an A+ like Correa is. So it's so frustrating right now to be a Cubs fan.
Yeah, and that's one thing. Everybody, with the Bogarts contract, 11 years. Oh, that's ridiculously long. And even my wife said that when I told her. I was like, yeah, he signed for 11 years, and she's like, that's long. And even Correa, I was thinking, I'm like, man, my son's going to be in high school, like a senior in high school, or going into senior year when he's like at the end of that contract. And he's in preschool right now. That's so long. Yeah. But the thing is, they can afford to pay him to go play somewhere else.
Yep.
They can, or their farm system's going to be developing players and pitchers where you can send some prospects in on that deal and have the other team eat the money.
Right.
Or Jed, you're not even going to be there by the
matter
time that contract's up. So what do you care? Swing for the fence. Do something. I just, it's frustrating. And, getting back to your point about what they're going to do with like Mervis, I think of Michael, is it Creamy?
Yeah.
Is that right?
From Bleacher
How do you say
Nation?
his last name?
Yeah.
He was talking about how how the Cubs can get Wisdom and platoon him because he's a righty, Mervis is a lefty, and I guess Wisdom really crushes lefties. So, and again, we kind of talked about that when we talked first baseman free agents. That could be possibly why they didn't get Abreu. They want to roll with Wisdom. So it's kind of looking like that's the idea, but you don't have a third baseman then. You need someone to play third baseman. I don't know if Morel's going to play there every day.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, so the thought is maybe they get Justin Turner. An idea that I saw floated that I wouldn't mind them exploring is Anthony Rendon from
I saw that
the
too.
Angels.
I'd be okay with
I think
that.
he's what, 33 maybe?
Something like that.
He's got a really bad contract. Maybe you take that. It's not necessarily bad like the other contracts that were just signed that everybody's poo-pooing, but he's got a lot of money. They could eat that contract. Maybe you get a couple prospects in the trade and take on the money, and you got a third baseman, the guy that can play solid third base there.
Yeah.
So it is very frustrating with the lack of moves. Jed, I know early on was saying we got a lot of deals out there. Clearly they didn't have a deal for Contreras not Contreras, Correa out there.
Yeah.
So what deals did they have out there? And yeah, I agree with you. We don't need to hear from Crane Kenny. I don't know why the Cubs think it's a great idea to have him get on the airwaves and talk about how much money that business or that the front office has to spend. I mean, he's like Ted Phillips. I don't need to hear from the money guy. Let him worry about making money for the company, for the Cubs, and that's it. Don't put him in front of cameras unless it's for, hey, we're unveiling, the landmark status.
Yeah,
or,
new statue
we're
or
opening up the
something, yeah.
sports book and, he was a part of, the finances on it. Have him be there for that. Don't have him go on the radio when he's got nothing to say about things being built and gets, puts his foot in his mouth and talks about, we have lots of money. Ownership is great. They stand out of the way and we're able to spend the money. We have the money in the budget to get free agents. You don't do that. That puts Jed in a bad spot anyways.
It does. Yes,
because
it does.
now agents are, they have money. Well, this is my asking price. Well, we can't do that. Yes, you can. Somebody from the Cubs came out and said, you have money to spend. I don't believe you. And then they'll go somewhere else where somebody else will pay him because they don't want to deal with Jed. So he's put in a bad spot with that. And I just thought, and we didn't talk about the Kaplan tweet when Cody was on, but I was going to ask you guys what your initial thought was, because my initial thought, and I'll hear, what was your initial thought when that tweet broke about how Dave Kaplan was told from his source that the checkbook was open, and Tom had told Jed that he needs to do whatever it takes to get a winner on the field? What was your initial thought?
My initial thought was excitement, but clearly there's a disconnect because if that were truly the case, one of these guys would be in Chicago right now, right?
Yep.
So the other thing is I've been listening on the radio today and trying to read online, and supposedly there's kind of like an open tiff now between biz ops and baseball ops, which makes no sense because neither one of them should really even be talking to each other besides saying, hey, here's the budget. I don't understand. So I don't understand, is it Jed saying, no, I don't want to do these contracts and trying to stick to his guns, which, yes, I agree. Yeah, I don't want to give a guy 11 years, and we've said this before, it's this is what the market is, and I think Luke Stuckmeyer said it best on CHGO, this is the price of doing business this offseason for shortstops. So if you're going to get one, which your team needs, because then it allows Nico Horner to move to second and you would have an amazing up the middle infield, then that's what you have to do. If you're not, then don't complain when, Nick Madrigal gets hurt again and then we're running out the Jonathan VRs and Andrelton Simmons of this year, whoever that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gene Segura.
Yeah. Well, I would take Segura over those two any day just because he seems at least has talent.
Adam Frazier.
Yeah, that's a slippery slope. So I'm curious, what was your thought when you saw that Kaplan tweet?
I was initially, probably within the first 5 minutes, I was like, oh, all right, here we go, because they had just talked about how they sent the crew to go talk with Xander Bogaerts. They supposedly went down and saw Correa's camp.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of movement, and then you get that tweet and it's like, all right, someone's going to get signed tonight. The Cubs are going to make a big splash. 30 minutes go by and I'm like, that's bullshit. I'm like, nothing's going to happen tonight. Nothing's going to happen next week. And it was just one of those things, that was an oddly timed tweet for that to come out. And then you get next week Crane Kenny talking on the radio, and it's just what's are they throwing Jed under is now Jed the scapegoat?
It's almost yeah.
But again, it's kind of hard because if he's they're still making tons of money unless they're seeing some sort of, I know we talked about ticket sales being down last week, down I think the lowest since 97.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but I still feel like they're still what is it? Last year, 21, Forbes came out with the revenue operating revenue was $68 million.
Yeah.
So they're still doing well. They're not breaking even or under yet.
No,
and that was with COVID restrictions well. So yeah, I thought the tweet ended up was total BS. Just like his northward of 200 million tweet about Chris Bryant.
Yeah, I was a really big David Kaplan fan when he had his show on well, I guess it's on NBC Sports now, but it used to be Chicago Tribune Live, and then it was Chicago Sports Talk Live, just because it was like a round table of Chicago journalists. And then, I don't know, I feel like he's kind of bought into his own hype a little bit the last few years. Like, he thinks he's a really, I don't know, maybe he's a nice guy. I'm not quite sure. But the other thing that was really frustrating that I saw last night on Twitter, or maybe it was this morning, that Jesse Rogers was talking with Jed Hoyer. And I don't know I'm assuming it was at the winter meetings. I don't know if it was at a restaurant or a casino or something. But they were talking about, Jesse Rogers said, Jed, you don't have a superstar on this team. And if you want to win and be successful, you need a superstar. And his comeback was, well, Tampa doesn't have superstars and they win. And it's like, are you kidding me? We're aiming to be like the Tampa Cubs? Is that like, okay, if that's the case, then you better lower your cost of tickets, your cost of concessions. You are in the third largest market. You're not in Tampa. You're not at Tropicana Field, which I like it, but it's a dump. You're at Wrigley Field, which I guess technically is kind of a dump still too, but a historic dump nonetheless.
Yep.
But it's like, what if the Tampa Bay Rays won? Nothing. Like, yeah, you made some playoff appearances. You have next to nothing payroll, and you managed to squeak out a playoff appearance. That shouldn't be good enough for the Cubs. And if that's what Jed Hoyer is going for, that is insane and infuriating.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't. Yeah,
I hope
how
it's
much
maybe
is that true?
not true.
How much does he even remember? I'm sure they were probably drinking, because I think they were at a casino. So I'm sure they were probably drinking. I know Cody. I think Cody made the mention of. He said something along the lines. So I wonder if Jed was using the wheelbarrow full of money at the casino.
Yeah.
Casino. Now that's why he doesn't have anything to spend. He had Crane bring the wheelbarrow in and bet it all on black and probably lost it all.
I don't know where the offense is going to come from. We still need a catcher because Yan Gomes is not going to be your starting catcher. You didn't do anything for the trade for the A. Was it Stephen Murphy, the A's catcher?
Yeah.
You didn't sign Christian. What's his name?
Vasquez.
Christian Vasquez, which also broke today that the Cubs and the Twins offered him the same amount of money, and he went to Minnesota.
Yeah. Ouch.
So like, okay, so that brings me to my next point is word getting around about the Cubs that the way that they do business is kind of shady in terms of like the way they treat former players. And now I'm not saying they didn't offer them fair value contracts when the core left. That's not my point, but just being like, they didn't take care of their guys, so why would you want to go there when you could go somewhere else instead? Or maybe that's me putting my tinfoil hat on. I don't know.
I think so, but because Yu Darvish.
Yeah.
What did Yu Darvish do? He got Seiya to Chicago
to come here. That's true.
Yep. So I think players shouldn't look at it that way. I mean, from what I know, and even they didn't pay the core, but they traded them all to favorable destinations where they wanted to go. They all spoke highly of them, the Cubs. Maybe Jed's just bad at negotiating.
I'm starting to think
maybe that's what it is. And maybe he just rubs people during negotiations the wrong way, where it's just like, I don't want to be there. Like, no, if I have to keep dealing with this, I have to deal with negotiations with this guy, or he's difficult. They don't want to be there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because the players only speak highly of Chicago, from what we've heard.
Right.
Again, we know that Yu Darvish got Seiya Suzuki to Chicago.
To come here,
he was a big part of that. Couldn't work his magic with Senga, but I digress on that. So, no, I don't think it has to do with that. I just because it's a business. The players know that.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect of it that they know that that there's business aspect, and that things might not always be favorable. maybe he just wanted to play in Minnesota. And no one told them about that. They have winters 9 months out of the year. I don't know.
Your dad
maybe
was
he
telling
likes
me,
the snow.
Maybe
he's a big fan of the Mighty Ducks. Maybe he thinks he's going to run into Gordon Bombay out there.
Hey, Gordo. Yeah, I want to say it was your dad was telling me today. I think he said he read something, I want to say in Sports Mockery, that the Cubs were trying to tag on an option for a 4th year to that deal, which kind of maybe turned him off. And that's why another reason maybe he went to Minnesota.
I saw that there was an option. I didn't know if it was player option
or team option.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could have been maybe that was it, but it's just, these guys are coming off the board. But it was
still he still would have been paid more. Like, there was still money attached. Like, there was money attached to that option. So it's not like it was, we're $40 million, but the 5th year's free type of thing. Like, there's still money attached to that. So I don't know. Like, from his aspect, what does that matter? I mean, if they had the extra option, because I mean, it's more security. So I don't know, whatever.
No, I don't know. And then,
maybe it did.
I don't know. It's frustrating because it seems like even the B and C tier guys are coming off the board now, and the Cubs aren't making. I mean, Rodon was never coming here, but that's another signing. He's a Yankee now. Syndergaard went to the Dodgers.
Right? Yeah.
So I mean, like, and again, I didn't think he was coming here either, but it's just like, all right, the availability of what's left is not great.
Not
and
pretty.
I know from what I've looked at for next year's free agency class, it's not very good either. So
there's no bats out there.
No. So then you're relying on trades. And when was the last time the Cubs really made a trade to shake things up? Like Jim Hendry era? Like, like I can't think.
Theo,
yeah.
Quintana,
yeah. And that didn't go well. So, I mean, it was
Wade Davis.
Yeah. Okay. That's another one. But yeah, I don't know. It's just they're going to have to start making decisions through trades. And it's like, all right, well, are a lot of those prospects that you're pinning your hopes on, are they going to be moved then? And I don't know. As we sit here, I know there was some science teacher on Twitter last night that was tweeting that he had a source.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Dansby Swanson was going to
signing last
during
night,
that night.
And that didn't happen. I'm like, where are these people coming out of the woodwork from with these sources? So
at least the Cubs, bogus breaking news accounts are actual people, not food like the White Sox Twitter accounts.
All right. Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, is there any other final Cub statements or final closing arguments you want to make to justify their behavior? Like, I got nothing. I
don't. And for the people that think like, oh, well, I'm glad they didn't spend the money on Correa because that gives them the chance to sign Ohtani.
He's not coming here.
They're not. Yeah, if they're not going to spend the money on Carlos Correa, they're not going to spend it on Shohei Ohtani. Are you kidding me? No, they'll be like a Rick Hahn and have the seat at the table, and that's it. It's the kids' table at Thanksgiving, and that's it.
I really hope Cubs convention in January, if things are still the status quo, and who knows, maybe they'll do something in between now and January. I don't know, but the first part of the convention is a Ricketts roundtable with all the Ricketts family members explaining their direction for the team. And I swear to God, I hope there is a run on pitchforks and torches because I want blood for the marquee stuff. I want blood for the pocketbooks open. Yet here we are with no signings besides two, depth guys, with Jameson
We'll get Gene Segura and Jed will go out there like John Candy in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Yeah. Do you have a really nice watch? I have a Casio.
Ooh. Yeah, it's not going to go well, and I'll be honest, like, that's fine. I'm looking forward to watching that on TV if that's the case. But yeah. All right, well, let's move on to the White Sox. Another dare I say, I don't even know what to say about the White Sox because what are they doing? They have not done anything. Literally, I don't think they've done anything since free agency started. Is that correct?
They signed Mike Clevenger.
That's right. How can I forget?
Minor league deals.
That's right.
Yeah, but that's about it. There's I don't know. Rick Hahn did come out and say that he's waiting for the dust to settle.
So are the Cubs, apparently.
Yeah, right? Except, Jed didn't actually come out and say that.
You're not the Oakland A's. You're not Tampa Bay. You're not Kansas City. You're in the third largest market. You're the freaking Chicago White Sox and the Chicago Cubs.
Well, Jerry's a philanthropist.
Yeah. That's why he's an owner of a baseball team. Is
right.
He's
the White Sox are in philanthropy.
Yeah. It's Always Sunny reference there.
I know.
It's I can't even imagine what it's like to be a White Sox fan. I would be irate at the lack of stuff that's going on. And I know I sent you and Greg this in our text chain. The last 8 years of White Sox free agency signings, some of these guys I forgot all about. So 2014, their biggest free agency signing was Scott Downs to a 1-year, $4 million deal. Was he a pitcher by chance?
I think so.
Okay, I don't remember him. 2015 was David Robertson, who the Cubs had last year, a good closer, 4 years, $46 million. 2016 center fielder Austin Jackson, 1 year, $5 million. The Cubs had him for a while too. I think they got him off waivers, maybe. 2017 pitcher Derek Holland, 1 year, $6 million. 2018 former Cub Wellington Castillo, 2 years, $15 million. That was their biggest signing that year. 2019 Calvin Herrera, I believe, was a relief pitcher, 2 years, $18 million. 2020 is when they broke the bank. Largest free agent contract in White Sox history for Yasmani Grandal, 4 years, $73 million, which that's aging like cheese. That is
in the summer heat.
Yeah, that is not looking good at all. Liam Hendricks, Kendall Graveman, and then Mike Clevenger this year so far. So, White Sox fans, I don't know what to tell you. I think the window is slammed shut. I don't know unless Pedro Grifol has a lucky horseshoe somewhere that he's gonna resurrect their season coming up. I don't know. I really don't know.
It's sad.
It's
really sad.
I really
shouldn't be going on.
It shouldn't, and I really don't even know what else to say about them.
I don't have anything because it's just pathetic.
It's
I know
awful.
Somebody on White Sox Twitter had posted the question, the Cubs need a catcher. Why don't we trade him Yasmani Grandal? And I forgot who the player going. Oh, Nick Madrigal. They wanted a second baseman.
Oh, now they want him back.
Yasmani Grandal for Nick Madrigal. I'm like, well, yeah, the Cubs need a catcher, but Yasmani Grandal can't catch.
No,
he's
not
not
to
a catcher
mention
anymore.
White Sox fans couldn't be happier when they dumped him on the Cubs. It was all he was never that good anyway. Now they want him back. Funny how that works. All right, well, I guess that'll close the book on our baseball talk. We'll see. We'll be sitting here next week. Maybe we'll get an early Christmas present of someone. I don't know. Not probably anybody good. All right, Vinny, do you have thoughts on the last Bears game? No,
it was a
bye week. It was bye week.
I have tons of thoughts. Let me tell you.
All right, fair enough. No, all right, good. Should we go on to whatever then? I guess.
Sure. That sounds good.
All right.
Now it's time for Whatever.
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 Whatever you want. Whatever I want.
Whatever, dude. Irrelevant.
Whatever, dude.
All right, Vinny, take it away, sir.
Welcome to Whatever. Baseball. This week we are doing Musical Mayhem, where we pick 5 random music artists and try to find our favorite song from each one. It is to find new artists, possibly, or rediscover old artists that we liked. And this week we had Matchbox 20, Wiz Khalifa, Lit, Rich Homey Quan, and the British, they're British, I'm assuming, Sensation Peace. Justin, I know we talked about it in the beginning, before the show started. Rich Homey Quan, that was painful. That was I can't remember the other guy that was
Tyler the Creator.
Yes, Tyler the Creator.
I think I would
Tyler
take
the Creator is a little bit better.
I think so. Yeah, Rich Homey Quan does the term cruel and unusual punishment mean anything to you?
He might be banned from being played at Guantanamo Bay.
You literally just took that joke right out of my mouth.
Great minds think alike.
Somewhere, there's a, oh God, what's the conference? Not that all the hostage, not hostage. Never mind, doesn't matter. Yeah, not good at all. It was more of a scale of which one did I dislike the least, more than which one did I like the most on that one. So.
Yep. And so we have a couple write-ins too from that, but we'll get into ours and then we'll go through the list from 3 people that wrote in. So
alrighty,
Justin, good. I will kick it to you. What was your favorite Rich Homey Quan song?
All right. I guess just because I liked the beat, Rich Homey Quan had a song called Flex, parentheses, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yep.
That
was on my short list.
I guess that one's okay. It's not good by any stretch.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know. He's newer, he's newer, a new rap artist. I'm assuming. I've never heard of him before growing up. So, but it's more like that mumble rap.
Yes, which is funny because I had never heard of that until I saw it on a tweet this past week. And then when you brought that up, I'm like, oh man, this is really a thing. Like this is.
Yeah, it is.
I don't like it.
He's kind of like that, I would say. I guess I don't know the full genre of mumble rap, but I would assume he's mumble rap, and it's just not that
No,
good.
And I feel like I'm willing to give most types of music, barring country, that's my non-negotiable. But like
we're gonna have to get some country artists on here.
Yeah, I'm screwed if that's the case. I actually, you know what? I would take country music over Rich Homey Quan. That's a hot take, I know. But yeah, like it was really hard. Like there's new music I listen to all the time that I'm like, oh, that's good, or even if I don't like it, I can see why like the newer generations of people that listen to music like certain songs. Like I can see the artistic reasoning behind some of that. I truly, and I know it takes talent to put out a record and an album, because I've never done that. I mean, I've played in bands, but never to that level.
Right.
But no, I don't see the appeal. Like I literally racked my brain trying to figure out what am I missing? Like, is there something that I'm missing here? Because if this guy is making money off this, I don't get it. So
well, the song you liked is his most popular one, and it's got over 200 million likes on Spotify, or I think it's likes is what that the numerical represents after
I believe
the song.
You're right.
So that song was on my short list, but I went with a different song.
Okay.
It was called Risk Takers.
Oh.
It had a good flow to it, but that was about it. Like the beat was pretty good. It was kind of a darker beat, not like the Flex song had. It was kind of, the Flex was more upbeat. This one was kind of darker.
Got a little bit of piano in this one, it sounds like, maybe.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And so I kind of like that, that aspect of it. I'm a sucker for rap songs with a good piano riff in it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what drew me to that song.
Sounds
but again,
good.
it wasn't that good.
No,
it was rough.
Yeah.
And I guess since Pretzel Vince bless his heart, actually put himself through the ringer and actually listed out all 5. So we'll read his favorite Rich Homey Quan, and it was Feel It. And he again cheated on a rap artist,
Other breaking news. Water. Wet.
And this wasn't actually a Rich Homey Quan song. He was featured in this song. And listening to it, I don't know what he liked about this song. It was painful, but again, it's a Rich Homey Quan song, so most of them are painful. I didn't like it. I had listened to it before we recorded tonight. So yeah, don't know why he picked that one. I'm curious as to why he picked that, because it was not a good song. Yes. Do you have any other thoughts on Rich Homey Quan before we move on?
Good for him. That's about all I got. I'm not gonna take anything away from him if he's making money, and good for you, dude, because I don't get it, but hey, rock on, man. That's all I got.
All right, Justin, we'll move on, and I'll do something probably more in your wheelhouse.
Sure.
What was your favorite Matchbox 20 song?
All right, little background. Matchbox 20, Yourself or Someone Like You, that was their first album. That was the third album I ever bought, right after Chumbawamba's Tub Thumping and Ace of Base. Yeah, I was a big Ace of Base fan in grade school. But yeah, so I listened to that album back and forth. Still have followed them. Some of their albums I've listened to more, other ones I've kind of fallen off. And Rob Thomas has had such a crazy solo career with, working with Santana and kind of breaking out, and a lot of his music too, which is, I always find odd when artists kind of have the lead singer go become a solo artist, is like a lot of the stuff he sings on his own. I'm like, well, that could have just been a Matchbox 20 song, I never understood that. But I got to go back to the original album. 3 a.m. was their first hit, and then they had Real World was their second hit. This one got released, but I don't think it was really considered a hit. But it's one of my favorites, and that's the song Back to Good. I don't know if you caught that. Definitely a little bit slower. Definitely it's not like your prototypical like pop rock beat. Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of, and it's a longer song. I want to say it's like almost pushing 4 or 5 minutes. And a lot of their other stuff.
It's a good song.
Yeah, I liked it. So that is one I still go to when I got my iPod in the car and I'm in a certain mood for certain music. Like if I'm going to listen to Matchbox 20, that's probably going to be the first song of theirs that I put on. And not necessarily one of their hits, but one I like nonetheless.
Yep, that's a good one.
Yeah.
This one was kind of fun just because it's like straight 90s nostalgia.
Yeah,
listening to them.
Yeah.
And I liked Rob Thomas's, what's that,
Streetcar Symphony?
Yes, I love
that.
That's
a great song. That is a great song.
Yeah, if it was like, if we did Matchbox 20 or Rob Thomas, that would have been my number one. But since it was his solo stuff, that didn't make the list. But I had I think I had 2 on here that I really like. Well, I had 3, but the song Radio, I kind of wanted to go a little different route.
Okay.
It was kind of more upbeat. It's a little different from their hits from the 90s. I kind of liked it, and it was just one that came across when I was on shuffle trying to figure out a song. But that song just was kind of different from some of their other bigger hits in the 90s. And other song that I really liked that I first thought of was Bright Lights.
Yes.
That one.
Yeah, it's a good song too.
Really liked that one too. But yeah, for me it was Radio. Again, it was more upbeat than more of their kind of slower songs, and not as I guess hard rock as a song like Push. Yeah, it would be kind of like a harder song. Pretzel Vince writes in his favorite Matchbox 20 is If You Are Gone. I think that's one of their biggest hits.
That was probably like right around 2000-ish maybe. That was that on the Mad Season album? I want to say that was their second album, maybe. I think was that. I had that one too growing up too.
Wait, what's the one with the blue cover?
I think that's Mad Season, right? And it's got like not a jester, but like somebody with like a crown or king hat on him. I can't remember, but it's funny, Vinny. I have never heard this Radio song. This is pretty good. I like it, and I'm on because I'm old. I'm on Apple Music or iTunes right now, and apparently this album, North, is the album it's on. This was their first studio album in 10 years. It came out in 2012 because in 2007 they released a Greatest Hits album that only had like 1 or 2 singles on it that were new.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't even know this album came out, but that's really cool. Which reminds me, we're supposed to go see Matchbox 20 and Wallflowers this summer, so I got to buy those tickets.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I like that. I'm going to have to check that album out and throw that song into my rotation, so thank you.
Yeah, there you go. You're welcome. All right, moving on. Any thoughts on Matchbox 20?
No, I just think, they have they're a pretty even keel band in terms of like every album they drop, you're good for at least one or two pop hits, right? Like,
yep.
It's not going to be like anything earth shattering or, not instrumental, but like attempting something new to break new ground. But like,
yep.
As soon as you hear them, like, what's the song? How Far We've Come. I feel like that's a great kind of like got a great like rock beat to it. I've seen so many sports montages in stadiums to that song. The Hawks were notorious for doing that. But yeah, just Push, great song. If You're Gone is a great one. My Disease is another great one, which has got a really different sound to it. Just a fun band in general. I wouldn't say one of my favorites, but just a good band in general that I'll listen to for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well said. Okay, we will move on, and we will go back to the rap genre. And what was your favorite Wiz Khalifa song?
All right. This actually was a little bit easier than I thought, because I knew who he was, but I did not know what his songs were. And it is well documented on this podcast that I am a huge, huge Fast and Furious fan, Vinny.
Yes, you are.
So, of course, I had to go with the song that is featured in Fast and Furious in the one that Paul Walker died in. Not his character, but the actor. And that is See You Again, featuring Charlie Puth. I don't know how you say his name.
Yep.
Not really like even a rap song. I think it's more of just a pop song, right?
Yeah.
But that one, I love that song. It's pretty good. Just love the lyrics to it. Yeah, if I'm gonna seek out Wiz Khalifa, I'm probably gonna go to that, which I know is probably the most status quo answer because I think that's probably one of the most popular ones or well-known ones. But yeah, I'm gonna go with that just because it does the job and it makes me think of Fast and Furious, which makes me happy. So
there you go. But then you think of Paul Walker, and then
that's like, oh shit, okay, yeah,
yep. That was a good one. And I recognized that one instantly when I played it. I didn't know what it was called. And all these songs, like I recognized them. I'm like, oh, that's what that song's called.
Yeah.
On my list, I had it's on, I think it's his newest album. The first song on it, it's Big Daddy Wiz, and it's featuring Girl Talk, the DJ, and it's just got a really good upbeat to it. I really like that. He had a couple good like kind of like club type songs in there. I know Pretzel Vince had No Sleep. That was a really good one. That was on my short list until I heard Big Daddy Wiz and had to pick that.
That's what I'm going to start calling you, Vinny.
Oh, I don't know if I should be offended or I don't know.
Big Daddy Viz. Big Daddy Viz. That's Big Daddy Vin. That's what it'll be.
That's better. I was gonna say maybe we could call Greg Big Daddy Wiz since he did the whole peeing in the locker.
I think that's perfect.
Prank.
That's his new name.
Yep.
That's his new name.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you come across the song We Own It? I liked that one too.
I think so. I want to say that might have been on my short list. It
was a little bit of a heavier. Oh, you know what? I take that back. I don't know if that qualifies. That is actually a 2 Chainz song featuring Wiz Khalifa. So I take that back. That doesn't count.
Well, then I'm surprised it wasn't on Pretzel Vince's list.
Never mind.
No, yeah. I'm pretty sure I heard that song during my listening of Wiz Khalifa, but didn't make my short list actually looking at it. Moving on, we'll go to my favorite band out of this this list here. Peace. I really enjoyed listening to this one. Justin, what was your favorite piece? I'm kind of curious as to what it might be.
I really liked the song Wrath by Peace. I don't know if
that was a good one. Was it Wrath or Wraith?
I'm sorry, there's an A in there. It is Wraith. Very good. It's Wraith.
You mean an I in there? Because Wrath would still be You said there's an A in there, and like, well, Wrath does have an A. No, there's an I in there that makes it Wraith.
Yeah. Wraith, I liked.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I really liked just the setup of the song. Excuse me. I loved it. Loved the drum part. A lot of good cymbal crashes in there. And then I also liked as a follow up or runner up, I really liked Lost on Me.
Okay.
Which kind of went in a different direction. It kind of had more of like a 70s, 80-ish vibe a little bit to it to a certain extent. But yeah, I really liked it. Now, that is a band that I will definitely probably listen to more going forward, which is great because that's the whole purpose of this whole segment. So I like it.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I'm trying to see Lost on Me. I didn't have that one.
Okay.
I liked a lot of their like favorite or top like songs on the Spotify list.
Lovesick was good too.
That was really good. That one reminded me of a song that should be in like a FIFA soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And so yeah, I when I heard that one, I was like, man, I think I'm gonna like this band. I hope none of their other songs suck because I think I listened to them after Rich Homey Quan. So I was like, oh god, I just hope
that's a palate cleanser if I've ever heard of one.
Right. But no, my favorite Peace song was Higher Than the Sun. But I had like a lot on there. Scumbag was a good one. Jen Strange. I could go on. I think I like at least 10 songs, but Higher Than the Sun was the one I ended up picking. Just kind of good instrumental song with good lyrics to it as well. I really enjoyed this one. It was kind of hard to. I was trying to think of like a good comp band when trying to describe them.
Would you maybe like Kings of Leon ish maybe?
A little bit with oh gosh, now I can't think of the 90s British band.
Oasis?
Yes, a little bit there. Not as instrumental and out there as Oasis was on a lot of their stuff. It was they're more like mainstream pop. They're simpler, I would say.
Yeah.
It would be Peace than what Oasis is a very complex band compared to Peace. But yeah, Kings of Leon with like a Oasis British vibe, I guess. I don't know. It was really tough, but they sounded very familiar, I guess.
I almost want to say like they're just like it seems like a decent, if you're into like indie rock, maybe even like they don't sound like them, but I get the same vibe, like a Wilco kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Like a British Wilco.
A British Wilco with a little more edge, but not that much because they're pretty mellow still.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a really probably horrible comparison, but yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So.
Yep. I think that's pretty good, I would say. I would like to see if anybody else would their
agree.
Comps would be to the band.
Yeah, I think, obviously we've done this segment 3 times now, and I think out of groups or bands that I had never heard of before, this is the first one where I will definitely go back and listen to that stuff, and I will add that to playlists and stuff like that. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Pretzel Vince wrote in his favorite Peace song was 1998 Delicious. The Delicious is in parentheses. This one was like I want to say it was almost like over 5 minutes long. I did like it. It was very instrumental. It was just long, so I didn't want to go back and listen to it. So I kept it off my short list.
The EP version of it is 10 minutes long, actually. So.
There we go. Yeah. So it was okay. It was longer than 5 minutes. Yeah, it was 10 minutes. So I kept that off my short list only because it was such a long song. But I know the way it started off, it was one of those like perked my ears, and I didn't like it. It just it didn't make my short list, but nonetheless, a good song. But I have a soft spot for like British and indie rock groups.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that one.
Good.
Last but not least, we are on to Lit. I'm curious as to what your favorite song was.
Well,
I think I might know it.
Yeah, I'm going to be the simpleton. I have to go with My Own Worst Enemy just because that song is a jam. Like even
it is.
Let's see. I'm looking at the album. When did the album come out? A Place in the Sun. I remember I never bought that. Okay, it came out in 99. So good Lord, almost 24 years later now. that song, it comes on and like it doesn't matter that it's a 90s rock song. Like you are still pumped and it still quote unquote plays for the 2020s. Like at least for me, you know, being an old man. But I was trying so hard. I mean, like I remember Ziploc as a song growing up. I remember Miserable. Like those were some of the other ones from that 99 album. And I didn't really stay too hooked with them after that. I didn't even really know they were still putting out music, to be honest. But, I wanted to try and be different and unique. But I'm like, you know what? This song was one of my favorites growing up. I have to go with that. So
yeah, and that's exactly what I did too. That was my favorite song, My Own Worst Enemy. Although I did the whole shuffle thing like I like to do with all of them. I spend like a day, as I'm working, listening to as much as I can. Rich Homey Quan didn't last nearly as long as everybody else did, but I did, and I forgot they had like one song. It kind of, they were a lot different. A lot of their other stuff was a lot different than what I was thinking they would be, because I've only listened to My Own Worst Enemy.
Yeah.
And that song is a very rocky song, like you said. Still jams today. But there was These Are the Days, the album. There was I didn't write it down, unfortunately, but they had a song on there. It was really different, and I kind of liked it, but I don't think you would, because it kind of had like a country-ish sound. And I was like, it caught me off guard, because I was like, I did not expect them to. I had to go back after it played. I was like, wait, am I done listening to them and like Spotify just playing like similar songs? I'm like, that did not sound like anything that I would have expected.
Oh my God, this doesn't
like.
sound anything like 90s lit. I'm listening. Welcome to the Party. Yeah. And Good Problem to Have. Yeah. That came out in 2017. Apparently they put out an album in 2022 as well, but
yeah.
Good for them.
I had some stuff written down and I erased it and I can't read it. But yeah, it was very, very different. And I'm going to have to go back and listen to that album again just to see if there's anything I did like in there, or if it was just because it was different, I liked it. But yeah, My Own Worst Enemy is such a good song.
I don't know if you remember, that music video is one of my favorites too, where they're
Justin, I know
you don't watch music
You're the
videos.
only person I think in the world that
still remembers music videos. I
Yes.
can't remember what I had for dinner yesterday, but I can remember a music video from 23 years ago. Let me set the mood for you. It's them rocking out. They're in a bowling contest at a bowling alley, and they have like the cool exotic, like one guy's got a bowling ball that's got a skull in it. The other one's got like flames on it. Like, and that's pretty much the whole video, is just them bowling and beating other teams of like old men. And then they like rock out and perform their song in the lounge at the bowling alley, and that's it.
Oh, there you go.
Good video. I highly recommend it, Vinny.
There we go. I'll have to look at it.
Yeah. So
Pretzel Vince wrote in and his favorite lit song. It was also his favorite band, I'm assuming, because he did 1 through 5.
Okay.
And it was American Dream. I didn't
come across that one either. Let's see if
I listened to it today. It was pretty hard rock. That song, not like My Own Worst Enemy, but it was okay. I didn't think it's not better than My Own Worst Enemy.
It looks like that was it says artist, if it's the one I'm looking at, artist Diamante and Lit. So it must have been like a,
again, it wasn't lit. It was lit featured in the song, most likely. Not surprised. Good job, Pretzel Vince. You once again have failed putting the right songs on there. But no, his, for what it's worth, his 1 through 5, Lit was number 1, Matchbox 20 was number 2, Peace was number 3, 4 was Wiz Khalifa, and 5, just like us, was Rich Homey Quan. Sorry, Rich Homey Quan. I'm sure you don't care what we think, because you probably have a ton of money.
More money than we do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Melissa wrote in She said Matchbox 20's Push is still my favorite song ever from the first moment I heard it till now. And I actually, Justin, remember that music video. I'm surprised you didn't talk about that. That's the one where like the camera is shaking around. I felt like I was on a boat and getting sick.
Didn't do a lot for me. The video, I like the song. The video didn't do a lot for me, but
yeah.
Yes. And then Erica wrote in, she said, My Disease, Matchbox 20, great song, and My Own Worst Enemy by Litz. There you go. Good options, darling.
I'm surprised she didn't have a Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah, I thought so too. I
pegged her as being a big Rich Homey Quan fan.
She would strike me as someone who would like Rich Homey Quan. Yep. The music, when I sometimes will like pull her car in the garage for something or take her car for something, it's like I turn Christian it on. Yeah, the exact
you got
opposite.
A Jesus fish on her car?
No, far from it. But yeah, it's like, oh my God, like she's into some heavy stuff. And then like I'll always put the Christmas music station on just to piss her off.
Well, there you go.
I don't know if you know this, Vinny. Your sister's a Grinch.
I knew that.
She
loves Halloween.
She loves Halloween, but like even like today, your parents were over to watch Maddie, and they're like, "Why don't we put some Christmas music on during dinner, or like let's watch a Christmas movie?" And she's like, "No." And I'm like, Christmas is next week. Like, it's okay. You can enjoy the holiday a little bit, but no, I don't know.
Pretty soon she's going to be celebrating Festivus. You're going to have a big metal pole in your house.
It's going to be, it's coming. I know
Tinsel's distracting for her.
I got a lot of problems with you people. All her grievances will just be me. None of them will be against Maddie. It'll just be against me. Wow. Vinny, I'm impressed. This is an hour and 15-minute show. This is awesome.
There we go.
We got in and out pretty quick. Time. So, yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to it. All right. So, I guess that does it. Any last-minute things?
I got nothing.
All right.
Cubs haven't signed anybody, so
no. I keep checking Twitter, and it's depressing. No one's come out and said that there's a signing coming, so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk. I'm assuming maybe we got the 22nd next week. If you want to do, well, maybe we can do one last holiday themed show, and then that'll do it for Christmas and all that good stuff. So. If you're still listening, thank you again. You can reach us in a variety of ways. YouTube.com/baseball and whatever. Like, share, subscribe. We appreciate it. You can reach us on Twitter at baseball and what. Email us baseballandwhatever@gmail.com. Download us on your podcast app of choice. And lastly, send us a voicemail or shoot us a text at 1-913-808-3278. That number again is 1-913-808-FART. All right. So yeah, we'll do this thing all over again next week. Maybe we'll have some signing. Who am I kidding? No, we're not. We're not going to have a signing. So yeah, we'll be back next week. Rain or shine, Cubs and White Sox, spending money or not. Vinny, thank you so much again. We will see everybody next week on Baseball and Whatever. See you guys later.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.